My first question to you is, how can hospitals balance the high cost of robotic-assisted surgeries with affordability for patients, and how do you see the role of private equity investments into this?
The first part is a very simple answer. Robotics is supposed to assist the doctor do more and do better.
Yep.
Okay. So nutshell, if patients get better outcome, their time in the stay is less, in the OR is less. Naturally, it should result in lower cost.
All right.
Right. Unlike a doctor who has to spend 12 hours, if in the same time space, a doctor and the entire system assisted by a robot can do more number of patients, the net result should be that per patient surgery cost should come down. That's the net result. Of course, the high capital cost that exists today has to be offset, so you might find current prices are higher. But as Dr. Mahajan also said, and Dr. Also said, that in the coming times, because of lot of players coming in the market, that capital cost also will come down. Currently, it is a good role for private equity to pick up emerging technologies because the playing field is not very busy right now. So you will find that private equity players will be more than enthusiastic to invest in many of the players to bring them quickly to the market, because everybody is eyeing the large pie that Intuitive have as of now.
Sure.
Right. So it is advantageous for private equity to bring in startups or smaller companies, expand their reach into the hospital system to basically get a good return on their investment in the short and mid term. In the long term, it's going to normalize just like any other technology that's out there.
Okay. Uh, 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 my next question to you is, how does inefficiency in procurement affect the overall cost of healthcare delivery in India?
That's a very loaded question, especially in India. As you know, the transaction model, the switching models are, to use a politically correct word, not very efficient, and I would add that not very ethical either, right?
Surely.
So technology has a role to play, and the regulators also have a role to play, because there are too many shortcuts being taken. There is not very well defined accountability. For example, without naming any hospital, did you know that hemodialysis catheters are used up to 6 times today, with the whole intent to drive down the cost? But is there a protocol to reclean them, reprocess them? No. Which means hospitals and healthcare system, which I've seen with my own eyes, they are doing whatever they think is efficacious, but there is no protocol which is laid down by the regulators. So on one hand, you have a need to cut down cost. On the other hand, in order to achieve it, there's a lot of shortcuts being taken. There is no protocol for reprocessing as of today. But as you know, although there is a protocol for medical waste, but a lot of unethical reprocessing is happening, which is leading to a lot of incidents of nosocomial diseases and very bad patient outcomes. So the balance between the two will come only if the regulators also have a role, and the shortcut business either stops completely or is regulated by good protocols which are set up for doing the same. And the procurement process as such, I mean, it's an open secret out there that the financial models and the incentives and the greed that is associated with this is a driving factor. And I'm not blaming the administration and the hospital owners. It is at perhaps levels below of them. I, being a very objective observant to all this, feel very sad when I come to know of this. But on the positive side, it holds a great opportunity for med device manufacturers in India to reduce the overall import bill, even to come to manufacturing this low complexity single-use disposables. But it should be coming with a strong protocol by the regulators to stop its misuse.
What quantitative metrics can be used to evaluate the effectiveness of hospital procurement strategies, according to you?
I think I partially answered the question in your last question. Right. The quantitative...
If you can add something to it.
Quantitative should be a benchmark. For example, the NPPA does its job in reducing prices of implants, for example. But what we have seen that the overall hospital cost doesn't decrease because other costs are added on to it to balance out the income equation of the hospitals, right? Similarly, metrics around total procedure cost should be brought about by the NPPA. Not limited to the products alone, because hospitals are finding a way around it. And aided by technology to increase the throughput of the hospitals will ensure that they get their fair share of return as well.
Yes.
And the number of patients, which means the number of patients they're able to treat and handle are more, so that they don't lose out in the game. And yet the patient gets the benefit of lower costs. It's a must.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Can predictive analytics improve supply chain resilience in healthcare, especially during emergencies, what we've seen during COVID 19?
It is almost become a necessity, and every of the players are absolutely wary about it. In the government of India, aided by our Prime Minister Modi's Atmanirbhar Bharat call, juxtaposed with the fact that we do tend to import a huge percentage of medical products out of India. So bringing in predictability with analytical methods as well as developing a good robust internal supply chain will aid in the uncertainties around it in case of any kind of pandemic like situation in the future.